I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, December the 2nd, brought to you in part by Noromycin by Norbrook. Noromycin 300 LA is effective and economical, and it is your go-to antibiotic for a wide range of cattle diseases and infections. For more information, go to norbrook.com. It's rodeo time. National Finals Rodeo starts Thursday evening with the first round. I cannot make it to the last round, and if I can't make the last round, I want to make the first round. So I'm going out to U.S. Cattlemen's Association's annual meeting next weekend. So this weekend is my weekend to go to the NFR, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but I am giving you this report early because I am going to Amarillo to the airport to catch a flight to Vegas to make the Thursday night rodeo. But I'm excited about going out to the rodeo. Going to be sitting with my friend, world champion livestock auctioneer John Rogers and Celeste Citrini, and looking forward to visiting with them. I thank my friend Glenn Benjamin from Semla, Colorado there that hooked me up with some tickets, and I've been using those the last few years, and I appreciate him. Hoping to get to see him here later in the weekend or early next week. But you know, a lot of us migrate out to Vegas for the national finals. A lot of us have never been to Vegas other than during the national finals, and if you have been to Vegas or one of those collection points for entertainment and gambling, when it's not during the rodeo or something like that, you really don't want to be there. Not only do we enjoy the entertainment that the National Finals Rodeo brings, we enjoy being around the type of people that it attracts, and sometimes it's the only time we get to visit with friends that come to that every year at the same time. But as we look at that this year, we're excited because our buddy Steve Stratford from Pratt Livestock, his son is in the bull riding, so we're going to get to see that. We're excited about that. We're going to get to see a lot of our favorite athletes go, and a lot of them have ties to production agriculture and ranching and things like that. You know, there's other rodeo type events. You know, the PBR is fun, but the calf roping sucks. And so the tradition and everything that goes with the National Finals Rodeo is another reason that we go out there. As we're seeing that, we're realizing that it's kind of in vogue, this cowboy stuff right now. We've seen some of our Western type movies or miniseries, whatever you want to call them, are getting popular again. You know, it was popular back in the 40s and the 50s. Yeah, you think we don't still like that kind of stuff. And we're seeing it become more popular and more accepted. We're just hoping that it trickles down into some of this woke and green initiatives that we're seeing politically, because you know, it's kind of cool to be a cowboy. It's always been cool to be a cowboy. But let's not overlook the fact that some of these movie and entertainment moguls are investing heavily into our cowboy stuff. We've seen that. They've actually purchased one of our great historic and traditional ranches in Texas. We feel like that's a good thing on the surface. The more we hear about it, the more we dig into it, the more that it concerns us a little bit. Also, National Finals Rodeo, you're going to see on the logo of this year's NFR a company that has kind of popped up out of nowhere the last few years, and they just pretty much promote themselves. Been buying a lot of performance horses and things like that. I don't fault the people that are selling them. They're finally getting paid for the talent that they put together. But you look them up online and things like that, and they don't sell anything. They just promote themselves, and they make really cool commercials. You guys are going to see a ton of cool commercials, and you're going to think, okay, what are they selling? They don't really sell anything. They're just making us feel good about that. And the more we see about it, they are buying up a lot of things. and also backed by a big entertainment mogul. And we see that whenever we look to see, well, who owns this and what is it? And then you see it's the popular entertainment mogul and investors. The and investors part of that should concern us. Whenever you start looking into who owns these companies and who is making the investing, it starts to show ties of maybe China and people that would lock people up for a pandemic that's been long over. Lock them in there literally, and whenever a fire catches them, they burn up in there, beat their pets to death on the street, and throw them in a trash bin. I don't know if that's what we want or not. Let's not be so naive that we're overlooking that. Yeah, it's great that on the surface they're putting out a positive thing about Western traditionalist stuff and cowboy things, but I've always got to play the devil's advocate, and I apologize for that. But I tell you what, while you're standing there grinning, all twinkly-eyed looking at something, you better watch from behind. But let's talk about your board. At noon on Thursday, December live cattle futures were down 5 cents at 153.02. February was down 40 cents at 155.27. Your back months were down 17 cents to down 62. January feeder cattle futures at noon were up 40 cents on Thursday at 180.87. March was up 45 cents at 183.90. Your back months were down 50 cents just on the farthest traded out month with hardly any trade at all, of course, to up on all the rest of them as much as 55 cents. Chicago Board of Trade corn down 8 3/4 cents at noon on Thursday at 6.53 1/4. Beans were down 41 3/4 cents. Just when I thought they were going to the moon, literally, they backed off big time. 14.27 3/4. Fat cattle trade up through midday on Thursday. For the week in Iowa, we had sold 1,400 head, 155 to 157 live, and 245 dressed. That's kind of steady to a buck higher, guys. Nebraska, 1,400 head for the week and 157. The Northern Plains guys know that those packers really need their cattle. They're going to hang out a little while longer and try to put a new top on that market, maybe as high as 160. We saw some 158.5 on some best cattle last week. I assume whenever we get some competition in there from the regional packers that are so important to this industry, we could see 160 on some real top selling cattle direct in the Northern Plains. It just hasn't happened yet. We haven't got plumb to the end of the week. Southern Plains has pretty much sold their cattle. Kansas has sold 9,900. They have for several weeks out of the last 2 or 3 months. We haven't seen that much trade, so we've pretty much traded them. 155, which is steady to a buck higher in Kansas. Texas, 8,700 head, which is pretty good for them already, and 155 was the price there also. Your noon box beef cutout values had choice up 23 cents at 255.11. Selects up 197 at 226.98. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction. You think, oh, you didn't get the close on it. It is always up to date and current. Your real-time index, if you're going on to Cattle Market Central, you're going on to National Beef Wire, you're looking at real-time index as fast as you can refresh that button. It's always up to date, guys. 176.52 based on an 800-pound steer up through your middle 12 states. That's 13 cents higher than the end of business on Wednesday. So you see your early sales on Thursday are selling pretty good. Your eastern markets don't go into your real-time index, but Bluegrass Stockyard South in Stanford, Kentucky had a hell of a sale on Thursday morning, including at least 17 loads of yearlings. And you think when you're thinking about a Kentucky sale barn, a lot of us don't think about having that many big swaths of cattle, but selling very, very well. I pulled this automated mark report early from Bluegrass Stockyard South in Stanford, Kentucky. You look on there and you see 376 head of 5-weight steer calves, average 551 with a weighted average price of 178.34. That might disappoint you a little bit, but most of those lighter cattle are selling in small bunches or singles and things like that. They're not going to bring the big prices. Now you look at the loads that were in the 8-weight category. There were 573 head of 8-weight steers, averaged 832 with a weighted average price of 175.64. Similar deal on the heifers. 302 head of 5-weight heifer calves in Stanford, Kentucky, average 554 with a weighted average price of 155.61. And then on the yearling heifers, 123 head of 7-weight heifers, average 719, and they actually had a weighted average higher than the 5-weights at 156.99. Some other individual quotes around on Thursday morning that were impressive. The wean back special at Joplin Regional Stockyard looked like it was going along without a hitch, including this 101 head of 606-pound weaned and backgrounded or preconditioned. That's the word I'm looking for. Preconditioned. I'm getting old. 606-pound steers in Joplin Regional Stockyards, 195 and a quarter. Pretty impressive there. How about Paris Stockyards in Paris, Kentucky? 58 head of 988-pound steers, scaring the hell out of 1,000 pounds at 169.20. And how about Winter Livestock in Pratt, Kansas? Evidently, they don't need Steve Stratford there as bad as he might think they do. I'm kidding on that. But selling those cattle very well Thursday morning in Pratt, Kansas. 50 head, 738-pound steers bring $2 a pound. I'm not a mathematician, but that's $1,476 a head for a 738-pound steer calf. Probably. It could be a yearling, might be a yearling there, but regardless, that's a lot of money for them. But the most impressive quote that I saw early on Thursday, your Mackerson, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Billings Livestock Commission in Billings, Montana. 255 head of 1,000-pound steers bring $182, $1,820 a head. That's your feeder flash for Friday.